What's up, everybody? AWOL here, joined by Ashrel and Ross A. Dillon, and today we're talking about how you can jumpstart your Twitter account in 2020. We've got the good news about Twitter, which is that there's big opportunities still on Twitter. And we've also got the bad news about Twitter, which is you can't just send a couple tweets and blow up like Ashton Kutcher did, like 10 years ago. It doesn't work like that anymore. But we'll let you know what realistically does work. And we can talk to you about how you can get jobs, you can make money, you can grow your audience in some ways on Twitter, but it has changed quite a bit from your thinking that you probably have about the platform. To kick things off, I'm going to kick it over to Ross A. Dillon, because I want you to kind of give us an idea of how things have changed over the years with Twitter. When you started VGF Gamers, this was the early days of Twitter where you were posting some valuable content, you could get tons of viewership, the followers would just come pouring in like magic. It was incredible in the early days, but things have changed a little bit, huh? So can you give us an idea of what things are really like today when it comes to Twitter growth?
Yeah, even on large accounts. Hold on, turn my mic down just a tad. Even on larger accounts like VGF, there isn't much growth. And the simple issue with that is, and it's kind of the same with just about every social media platform. And Perrin, I know we've talked about this before. If the platform itself is not consistently growing, if it is not adding new users on a daily basis, you're not going to grow. And that's just all there is to it. And Twitter's kind of been at this stalemate between like 300 and 330 million users. And one of the issues was, and I kind of hit on this a little bit last week, one of the issues is when there is so much clickbait, when there is so much misinformation being delivered over a platform, it becomes really hard to trust the people that you follow. You become a lot more picky about who you follow. And so even people who have larger accounts, like just take any news organization, for instance, just because they have 1 million followers or 1.5 million followers, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily getting clicks on their links. In fact, they're actually not, just because that's where the platform is. So you have to design, looking at your strategy and everything, you kind of have to design it a little bit to where you're not relying on clicks, where you're not relying on sending people to sending people to an external site to make that platform worth it for you. You have to figure out how to make it all worth it, where every single one of your followers, anybody who potentially follows you, gets all the information right up front. Because like I just said, they're not going to your website. You're not going to be adding many followers. In fact, Twitter right now is going through and removing all kinds of old accounts and stuff that haven't been active for years. So your follower count is actually probably going down, and you're wondering why. Well, that's one reason why right there. Another reason maybe is you're just not putting out good enough content.
That makes sense. I mean, we're just looking at the past and future projections in terms of Twitter users in any country. It's going to stay about the same. This is not a growing platform. Nearly every set of information that you're going to see is going to have this platform plateauing. So when there's not new eyeballs coming into a platform, then what the heck are you supposed to do? I mean, Andrew Perrin, does that mean that Twitter is absolutely worthless if there's not tons of new eyeballs coming in? How are you going to get the attention of people that are currently on the platform right now?
I mean, there's still millions of users on the platform. So, of course, it's not useless to be on Twitter. Twitter is still one of the top platforms to be on. It's still considered like industry standard. It's considered business standard. So if you own and operate a business, it is kind of assumed that you should also own and operate a Twitter account. So there's a couple paths here. Is if you're going kind of like an individual creator route, forget the follower number, just forget it, period. And use Twitter as a means of engaging with your fan base, other creators, leveraging personal relationships with potential sponsors, which we've talked about in previous episodes. There's so many uses for Twitter that are other than the follower account, right? The follower account normally comes into play and is important for businesses when they're trying to show their credibility or they're trying to show their size, and that size matters to them. For those businesses and for those people who have to worry about that, you have to advertise. It's becoming more like Facebook, where, I mean, since there's no organic growth, and that's not to say you can't get organic growth with a great strategy, with great engagement on Twitter, you can still grow organically, but you're going to do so better with a good advertising strategy. So if you're a business and you need to be operating on Twitter, you should automatically be thinking, I need to invest money into Twitter. And you don't need a ton, but you do need some for a solid advertising strategy so that you're getting your content in front of new eyeballs, because there are eyeballs on the platform, millions and millions of them, but they're harder to reach. And you're just not going to get them organically just by throwing the content out there. You're going to need an actual strategy. So if you're a business, hire someone like myself who can help you with an advertising strategy. Hire someone like Ross A. Dillon who can help you with an engagement strategy. And I'm not saying that's shameless self-promo, but I'm just saying as a business, you need to expect that you're going to run into that challenge and you need to service it. We run into so many brands and businesses who think that they can just forget social media, and it's at their own peril. I mean, we can go look at businesses, and if you've got zero presence on Twitter, the people who do care about Twitter, and I know that's not everybody, but the people who do, and they see that your business isn't serious on there, that's one of the standard social media platforms. If your business isn't taking it seriously, there's a lot of people who won't take your business seriously. Make sense?
That is very, very true. That totally makes sense. And let's dive in on one of those topics, which I think are relevant to a lot of our audience, that community engagement and community building on Twitter. Let's talk very tactically about the things that you can do on Twitter to engage your audience. And so for a lot of you guys watching, you may have grown an audience on YouTube, on your live stream, through Instagram, or you're trying to blanket tactic, trying to grow on all of them all at once. In Twitter, that one avenue that we're talking about is great for engagement. More specifically, what can you do on your account? Ross, just throw out a couple cool ideas that you've done over the years, because you've been engaging with gaming communities in particular with hundreds of thousands of followers, like with TGN and VGF gamers. And you've run like regular weekly programming to just keep people commenting, voting on polls, retweeting, all that stuff. Give us just a couple great ideas to spark people's imagination on how they can keep people responding and engaging with your account in 2020.
Yeah, polls are a great way, actually. I've been running polls on my account. I try to do at least a couple a week, but polls are a great way because everybody wants to see the results of a poll, but the only way you can see the results of a poll on Twitter is to actually vote in it. So that immediately shows that people are automatically going to be engaging with your account by voting on that poll. Now, it's just a subconscious thing. They start doing it once, they may start engaging with some of your other tweets. It's kind of like a snowball effect. But another thing that you can notice is take advantage of all of Twitter's tools. If you go and look at what some, reporters, a lot of, people within the mainstream media, what they're doing now is they're really taking advantage of threads. Stop posting links. That's for one. If you go and look at what they're doing with threads, they will sometimes have 16 tweets within a thread, which is basically a copy and paste of the entire article that they would have posted on their website. And they're just giving it to you right up front, right there. Yeah. So you don't have to go and click anywhere else to go and get it. That's one of the best things you can do right there, because people aren't going on Twitter to see articles. People are going on Twitter to see content. They don't want to leave the platform, so don't make them leave the platform. Develop a reputation on the platform for yourself, and then later, after you've established the trust of your audience, then if you need to send them off platform, they're going to be more likely to go. But you have to earn that trust with people, and you can do that by going through and using all of Twitter's options, from polls, a great one, threads, another great one, video, as we've talked about 100 times before. Video is where everything is going. Literally like 70% of all content on the internet by the end of 2021, I believe, is supposed to be video. So why not there's a reason it's going to that. So make sure you're taking advantage of all these. Now, granted, I'm guilty of this too. A lot of times I'm just posting memes because I have to post so much content. Another great strategy. Don't just sit there and load up one tweet a day. If you're putting out good content that's starting to get regular engagement, you're starting to see a pattern, don't be afraid to toss out 7 or 8 tweets a day. Just space them out. Don't spam people all at once with them. Those are, the main tips, and on videos, have captions, have subtitles. You essentially have to do that at this point. If people open up a video and they see that that they can't read what's going on, or they have to flip off the mute button and actually listen to it, chances are they're not going to. So add captions. Take advantage of everything that Twitter offers in order to get that trust from your audience. And just to reiterate something that Parent said earlier about how followers mean jack crap. And I mean that on every platform. They don't mean anything. And I'll give you an example of that. When I was when I was operating my personal account, I had like 17,000 followers. I was getting more engagement and, more growth on that account than I was with another account that had 1.4 million followers. So that just shows you right there, the number of followers means nothing. All that matters is the type of content you're posting, when you're posting it, and how often, you're trying to send people off platform to another site. That is what matters when you're trying to grow your audience. We are in a game right now where you have to establish the trust of your audience. I say that a lot. I cannot stress that enough. If your audience does not trust you, it doesn't matter if they follow you. They're not going to engage with you. And that's just plain and simple.
All right, that's it for the digital drop. That rant right there was so epic. We'll talk to you guys later. Adios, amigos. I'm just messing with you. That was a really good rant, though. That was amazing. You just said so many incredible things.
We're done.
That one.
Thanks, man.
I thought we were ending. I'm like, it's 9:30 already.
I'm just messing with you guys. It was such a good rant, though. You dropped so much good knowledge there. Let's dive in on the captions thing. So, given that video is taking over everything, what is the tool that you can use? And I already know the answer, but I want you to talk about it because this is a tool that I just installed it on my phone. I'm just going crazy for it. It's freaking free. What is the easiest way to get captions for a Twitter video right now, Ross? And I'm going to spoil it by putting it on the screen. Tell us a little bit more about this bad boy that people should be aware of.
Capwing, you can do a lot. I believe it is free to actually do subtitles, but to get the full access to everything they have to offer, it's about $10 a month. Maybe it's 20. Either way, it's 100% worth it. Capwing, not only can you go on there, upload the videos, it automatically generates captions for you. Now, a good note for this is it's still in the beta process of the software, so it's not going to be accurate, but it's going to have the timing lined up. So all you have to do is kind of go in and edit, and you can see right away where the mistakes are. Just kind of edit those down. It takes a huge chunk of time to actually sit there and go down and line for line try and do captions. I think it takes me it's like 20 minutes for every 2 minutes to do. But with Capwing, you don't have to do that. It kind of gives you a boost. But you can also, and I'm sure AWOL, you were going to go to this, you can go submit your video to rev.com, rev.com, and get captions. And within usually 24 hours, they send you back full captions. Most of the time mistake free, but they also give you the option to edit it. And then you can just download the SRT file, and you can also go into Capwing there, upload that SRT file, and then save the video with the captions already on it.
Yep, you want to burn in the captions into the video. So yeah, this is incredible. I mean, thank you so much for listening to the Digital Drop. We got to go again. No, but you want to burn the captions into the video. So we can't do it because we're live, but right below us in the lower thirds, like below where my hands are down here, you can, in Capwing, you can burn in a nice black box or whatever color box below there, nice bold white text, and it'll just have every single thing you're saying with burned in captions. You don't want people to have to elect to turn on captions to understand what's inside of your video. And that's what Capwing does. And you can also use your mobile phone to do some activities within Capwing, though it is a little bit buggy and it is in beta. But Capwing is the free option for captions, and rev.com is what basically every professional company that does captions and works remotely uses. Rev, however, is expensive. It is $1.25 per minute. If you want to get captions on your videos, that is not cheap at all. So if you have a YouTube video, for example, that's like 7 minutes long, and you could get 3, let's say 2-minute clips out of that, then it could be worth paying to get the captions. You pay about $10 to get captions, and you get 3 pieces of Twitter video content you can release on Twitter based on your one YouTube video. And you can use the caption file that you get here on Rev and put that into your YouTube video. So YouTube has auto captions for example, and so does Facebook, and so does any other platform. But if you can have super accurate captions created by Rev, you can upload that into any platform, and it'll help that platform understand what your content is about and ensure that if you're talking about a niche topic, that it's spelled right and that the algorithms of that platform know you're talking about whatever it is. Otherwise, it may translate your topic into something else, and you'll lose a lot of traction for that reason. So that's a really good point. So, Perrin, you have scheduled out a lot of content over the years for a lot of our big media clients and companies, and you help creators as well. So, how do you keep a regular posting schedule going, Perrin, where you can keep the content rolling? You don't have to wake up every day and think, God, what the hell am I going to post today? Like, how do you keep this train rolling so that you can reach what Ross is talking about, that 7, 8, 9 tweets per day on Twitter threshold? How do you get toward that direction?
It totally depends on the type of account you're trying to run. But generally, what I do personally is I have a list of content sources where I curate from that I would check daily. And normally you pull that content and I like pull it locally to my system, right? I'll have like a folder for like that I'm adding all this content to that I can post later. And then I have a set period, mostly every like work day of the week, like Monday through Friday, normally in the morning, normally after this cast, where you're taking that content and then you're adding it to your schedule. What I try to do is you build your schedule in advance as much as possible. So you want to have at least like a 2 to 3 day buffer. But keep in mind that if you do that on a place like Twitter, you're not going to be trending so much. Like you're going to be kind of off topic. You don't know what the trending topic is going to be 3 days in advance. So you do also have to consider during that day, like maybe adding and supplementing trending content in with your advanced content. But especially for clients, it's all about that lead time. As a social media manager, you want that in case you want a day off, right? Or like if something happens and you get sick, you have to have built a schedule days in advance. I personally build them natively in Twitter Media Studio. For Instagram, I'll use Buffer. For Facebook, I use the Creator Studio there. I don't use a whole lot of third-party platforms for scheduling other than Buffer for Instagram. I used to use Buffer for all scheduling, Twitter and Facebook, but I like native. I like doing it native now. It's just better for the algorithms on the platforms if you're doing native. Speaking of algorithms on platforms, I have a.
Can you explain what native means? You just used industry jargon and lingo. Nobody understands what you mean. So what do you mean native Twitter? What does that even mean, dude?
When I mean native, I mean adding content to the platform that, like when I say native Twitter, that means going to Twitter and scheduling your content on Twitter, not using a third-party platform, but using Twitter to schedule.
Using TweetDeck.
When I say native. Yeah. You can use, I would consider TweetDeck technically third party, although it is owned and operated by Twitter. For me, because it used to be a third party and it was bought and acquired, that one's a bit different. I don't consider it native, but you could schedule in there and it mixes with Media Studio. So I don't know. It's up in the air. You can use TweetDeck and it technically would be native. I don't think of it that way personally. I like using Media Studio to schedule. I like using TweetDeck to monitor feeds and to engage. We were talking about algorithms, and you guys were talking a lot about captions, and that seemed like a tangent for you guys when we're talking about Twitter, but it's not. The reason they're so big on captions, and the reason I'm really big on captions, is because in the Twitter algorithm, if you guys want a solid strategy to grow on Twitter, this is it. Video. And I know Twitter has been trying to be big on video and trying to compete with Facebook and YouTube, and they haven't succeeded. But in the algorithm for Twitter, for posts to get more engagement, more eyeballs on each tweet, having video on there dramatically increases, like by 8 times or so, the chances of it getting higher engagement if it's video. With a caveat, if it's video without captions, people are just going to scroll past it and never pay attention to it, because Twitter is mostly consumed on mobile, and on mobile, video is muted unless you specifically decide not to. So most people view Twitter with their phone sound off. And if you don't have captions, they have no idea what your video is about. So captions are one of the most important things for Twitter engagement because video is so important and video is often muted. This happens to actually coincide with Facebook because Facebook does the exact same thing. So captions become really important when you're doing multi-platform content. You want captions specifically for Twitter video and specifically for Facebook video. The last thing I'll say, if you guys want a specific strategy to grow on Twitter in 2020, is doing what we're doing right here, right now, and live streaming. Because when we study the Twitter algorithm, when we look at the Twitter algorithm, not only is video really high up there, there's one thing that is more engaged and gets treated better in the Twitter algorithm than video, and that's live video. If you're going live and you're doing live video content on Twitter, it's going to get the best possible treatment, hands down, than any other type of content that you're going to post by the algorithm. So go live daily like we're doing here. You've got video content plus the live factor, plus you're on technically an additional platform around Periscope too. So there's a whole lot of benefit there. I would say the worst item in the algorithm that you can possibly do, Ross alluded to this before, and this is the most common mistake by new creators coming over to Twitter, especially YouTubers, is links. Links get the worst treatment if you're linking to an off-platform site. So you're linking to some other site other than Twitter, your tweet gets the least possible positive bump. In fact, it gets a negative bump by Twitter's algorithm. It says, oh, that's trying to throw our users to a different platform. No. No one's going to see that. Let's bury that. So Ross had a really good point. Like what we see here, this is a common situation, and I bet some of you watching have tried to do this. If you come to Twitter thinking, I'm going to use Twitter to drive traffic to my YouTube channel, just don't even do Twitter then. Because if you operate under that assumption, everyone's going to see right through you. The algorithm's going to treat you very poorly, and you will get nothing from Twitter except wasted time. And you don't want that. So you have to come to Twitter with the idea of you want to actually provide value to Twitter and the audience on Twitter and do it on Twitter. If you do that, you'll have a much better experience. And then you can build up a reputation where, and Ross, we call this, or at least I call it link trust, where once you've built up that credibility with your audience, you can link them off platform. It won't be treated well by the algorithm, but your fan base will, trust you. They'll like your content enough to go check it out. And there you're actually able to leverage Twitter to use it to drive traffic to other places. Whew,
that's amazing. Thank you so much. That was really good. I should hit play the music again. And thank you so much for this digital rock. So, okay, really quick on driving traffic to live streams to any other platforms. One way that you can do that without linking to it directly is if you use Twitter Media Studio and you get a video in there. You can actually input the link to the full YouTube video within the video itself. So if somebody scrolls over it, they can see that link and they can watch more there in that location. And that can drive some tiny amount of traffic to your YouTube channel. But I've monitored those conversions of view to click ratio back to your YouTube channel, and it's like 1 in 1,000. So thinking that you're going to use Twitter to promote your YouTube channel in particular, terrible idea. Thinking that you're going to use Twitter in particular to promote your live stream, not going to work so much. But before I say that doesn't work at all, Ross has learned some lessons about this in the past. And Ross, what is the best strategy today that you've seen to systematically promote a live stream off of Twitter in particular? Because there is one way to do it, right? That can work. And I think a lot of our gaming creators that are listening right now would benefit from that kind of lesson that you've learned. Hit us with that. And we've only got a couple minutes left and we all have to go to work. So hit us with it.
Right. Okay, I'll be real quick with that because I think we actually may have different answers. The most success that I've had is just telling them, posting up a video of your content, of what you're doing, and then just saying in the tweet, hey, I'm live streaming over on Twitch. If they want to go watch you, they will go search it. They are more likely to go to another platform and search it rather than click your stupid link. So don't post links. Another thing, real quick, just to mention, if you want access to Twitter Media Studio, you do have to create a Twitter ads account. But you don't have to spend anything. You just have to put in a credit card, debit card, whatever it is. You never have to spend a penny, and that's how you can get access to Twitter Media Studio.
Let me show that right now on screen because so many people get confused about Twitter ads. So if you're using desktop, click the ... click Twitter ads. It'll ask you to input your credit card information into the platform, but you never, like he's saying, you never have to spend money. I've done some Twitter tutorial videos and they're like, it's asking me for a subscription or something like that. No, it's not. It just needs your payment information to unlock the dashboard. And once you have Twitter ads enabled, then you can go up here to the top and you can go to what we're calling Media Studio, where you can manage your tweets, your cards, your media, and you can go here and you can actually upload videos directly to Twitter by clicking Upload Media, similar to the YouTube dashboard, similar to the Facebook dashboard, etc. This is how you see people uploading videos to Twitter professionally.
Yeah, the Media Studio has the most metadata for Twitter because it's their actual way of tagging and uploading video. Even third-party platforms technically would upload to here. So you can add in tags, which normally aren't that important, but and categories as well. So there's actually, once you have it, there should be a quicker way to get to it. You went through the ads interface, but if you, and I don't know if you actually have this enabled on yours, some older accounts can't do this, but if you're just on Twitter.
No, I don't recommend it because it doesn't work for most people. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it might not work for you, but you can check if you're just on Twitter and you click your profile to the left, the 3 dot icon, I think. No, that's not it. It's one of the profile one. It should just say
usually
Twitter
right in
Media
there.
Studio. You used to click your avatar. Yeah, in that menu you had is normally right in there. I know your account doesn't have it. Some of the newer accounts should have it there though. So look for it there. If you can't find it there, go to the ads interface.
One of the stupid things about Twitter is that you can't access the place that you can upload content to Twitter. They make it very difficult. So there's 2 different ways, the way that Andrew Perrin described, which does not work for most people. But sometimes you can go directly to Media Studio by using the direct link. Most people, it doesn't work. I've seen from your comments on my YouTube video about it, you're like, that doesn't work. The second way is to go through Twitter ads and then to go into Media Studio. One of those 2 ways you can get in there. Twitter is making their best attempt possible to make it as difficult as possible to post content on their platform. And that's the way it will always be on Twitter. Okay, cool.
Just bookmark,
well, guys,
just bookmark it once you have access to it.
Once you have it, bookmark it. All right. Hopefully some of that tactical information helped you guys. We can talk a lot more about Twitter because we're all Twitter geeks, and it's probably our favorite social media platform, to be honest. And I think that we're going to do future episodes on Twitter, and maybe we should do an entire episode just talking about Twitter video. You let us know by tagging us at Digital Drop Pod. We are live on Twitter every single weekday at 9 a.m. Eastern for quick half-hour episodes. And then we upload the replays to our YouTube channel and also on every podcasting platform. But you know what we're not going to do? We are not going to link any of those platforms on Twitter because we're not idiots. All right. Guys, any parting thoughts or any wisdom you want to drop on people before we end this one?
No
If
links.
you are interested in getting started on Twitter and you want to do any sort of advertising, let us know if you want to do an episode on that as well, because I like to talk advertising.
That's right. Sounds good. And you can tag us on at Digital Drop Pod on Twitter if you want Ross's help or Andrew Perrin's help with advertising or with your Twitter strategy. They are consultants. And if you're a creator and you're wondering about budget, they charge less money for people that don't make as much. And they charge more money for companies that make a lot of money. So it may be affordable for you if you want to book them to help you out with your account. Even though they're like really high-end consultants in social media, they could probably help you. So tag us at Digital Drop Pod on Twitter and they can talk with you about that. See you in the next episode. And I'm going to play the outro music and see if it can work here to end this one. Here we go.